Well, hopefully we have another diamond in the rough. Or maybe a sapphire. This one is called the ZaZ Chipped Sapphire. The description basically saying, same as a Sapphire alternative, the ZaZ Sapphire alternative that he probably created a little while earlier, but with play out of defense and work the ball in the box. The idea is to have higher possession and entertaining football, which is very important for some players. I know this was tested on many tactics with no success, but I feel like it will be decent on this setup. Now, apparently it was tested 1,200 matches. They did okay. Plus 11 goal differential is not the greatest, but throughout varying teams, it can be okay. Man City is who they tested it with, 99 points, 126 goals, so it looks not too bad for the Premier League at least, but we're going to test it with our teams of Liverpool and Aston Villa in the Premier League and our championship side of Ipswich Town. So with all that said, let's just dive in and see how they did. Well, Liverpool did an absolutely smash-up job. 101 points, clear winners of the Premier League, no question about it. 88 points for Tottenham in second. 116 goals is fantastic. Aston Villa, 89 goals is also fantastic, but 75 points is kind of more average. Liverpool's domestic cups, unfortunately, out in the FA Cup fourth round to Tottenham, so really quickly there. But Carabao Cup, you get to the final, 3-2 in extra time over Aston Villa. 3-4, though, in their cups. UEFA Europa League final, 3-1 over Atalanta. So overall, this was a pretty good season. FA Cup, really the only bad part. So squad-wise, they do have a sea of green. Goals, 33 for Salah, very well done. Salah actually topping Nunez this time around. Nunez with only 25, only, but still 21 for Gakpo. So overall, that's a nice combination. 21 assists for Trent, 18 for Salah, and then Salah with the 7-5-3. Of course it is. As we switch over to Aston Villa, unfortunately, they're out in the FA Cup fourth round as well. 3-0 to Arsenal. Ouch. They get to the Carabao Cup final. We already saw that they lost in extra time to Liverpool. But they do come away from the season with a trophy at the Europa Conference League final against Lille. So overall, a much more average season for Aston Villa. 89 goals was pretty nice though. FA Cup is pretty bad. Squad for Aston Villa, 23 goals for Leon Bailey, interestingly enough. 19 for Diaby and Ramsey apiece. Assists 16 for Douglas Luiz, not bad at all. And then Kenny Tete, wow, 11 appearances, 75, but 7-2-3 for Diaby. Data Hub is what you like to see from Liverpool, through and through attacking. You got some dribbles in there as well, crossing percentage. Defensively, tackle percentage is down, interestingly enough, but everything else, besides fouls made per game, is really nice. Goals per game at 3.05, 0.68 conceded, 0.81 XG against, so pretty much everything Liverpool was doing well. And as we switch to Aston Villa's Data Hub, you can see pretty much the same thing from Liverpool, just a little bit down in the numbers, no question about it. Defensively, a little bit off in some of the numbers. They got a little bit better tackling percentage, though. But 2.34 goals per game, 1.5 conceded, 1.5 XG against it. Defensively, it's actually a little bit more than what they usually get. Premier League stats, Liverpool with 2.66 points per game, Aston Villa with 1.97. Most goals, that might actually be the top of what we've seen Liverpool get. Maybe a little bit higher at one point, but Liverpool in most goals, 116 of course, Aston Villa with 89 in second. Fewest shots against, Liverpool with 261, Aston Villa all the way down in 8th with 415. Most possession at 57% for Liverpool, 54 for Aston Villa. Most dribbles made, 6th place Liverpool at 623, 601 for Aston Villa. And most shots for Liverpool in first with only 658. I expected upwards of 700 at least, but Aston Villa with 574. But now, how did Ipswich Town do in the championship? Unfortunately, 5th place. Interestingly enough, they do get through the playoffs, which I don't know what's going on, but for the first 3 quarters of FM24, they almost never made it through the playoffs. They always failed miserably. Here, they're getting it time and time again, but they're not getting into the first and second spots, which is interesting. But 88 points, 117 goals is pretty nice, though. Out in the Carabao Cup fourth round against Aston Villa, 3-4, which actually is not a bad game, and they got a couple games in. But FA Cup fourth round replay, 1-3 against West Ham is where they drop out. So overall, like I said, they did make it into the playoffs. They made it through the playoffs with a 1-0 win over Southampton in the final. FA Cup, Carabao Cup, they didn't do too badly. It's the fourth round, but they still got a couple matches in apiece. Squad overall, of course, they don't have a lot of green, but 36 goals for George Hurst. Very well done. 15 for Broadhead, 13 for Chaplin, 25 assists for Leif Davis. I love these two. Average rating, you get Christian Walton in there, but George Hurst beats Leif Davis with a 7.29. Championship stats, most points per game, 1.8 for Ipswich, lying in fifth. Most goals, Ipswich in first, 124 after playoffs. Well done. I mean, even before the playoffs, they were doing really well. Fewest shots against, third place with 402. Most possession in fifth with 55%. Most dribbles made in fourth with 766. They actually make it into the most tackles won with 1,001, sixth place. And most shots for in third with 682. So let us dive in and take a little bit deeper look at this tactic itself. So sweeper, keeper, and defend is where we start. Fullbacks on the left and the right in attack. Ball playing defenders in the central spots in defend. 2 DMs in support. Inside forward in attack on both sides. Mark specific positions. I'm going to assume DLDRs. Yep, there you go. And then a pressing forward on both sides in support. So it's basically a flat mirror. Attacking mentality, in possession, attacking with his narrow approach play, pass into space. Focus played on the left and the right, play out of defense. Passing directness is shorter, tempo is higher. Low crosses, work the ball in the box and run at defense. In transition, counter press, counter, distribute quickly and roll it out. And then out of possession, a high press line of engagement, a much higher defensive line, trigger press much more often, prevent short goalkeeper distribution, get stuck in, step up more, and invite crosses. So overall, how did it do for our 3 teams? I mean, to be honest, very attacking. Apparently, some of these teams don't have a great defensive set to them, though. Ipswich in 5th is interesting. You'd expect them, I'm on 117 goals, upwards of 120 after playoffs. I would have expected them closer to first and second, which is where they usually get. Defensively, they weren't as good as they usually are, though. If we look at Aston Villa and Liverpool, Liverpool doing an absolutely amazing job. I mean, through and through attacking, through and through defensively is fantastic. 101 points, no question about it. Aston Villa, yeah, they had a little bit of a defensive woe there as well. 89 goals is fantastic for them. Second place, 75 points is on the average mark. So maybe get some better defenders in there and you could probably do a lot better. But obviously, as I always say, if you took control of it yourself, you could probably do a bit better of a job. Get your own transfers, of course, training, tactical changes during a match, shouts, things like that. And I think you could do fairly well in this. I mean, I think you could do fairly well anyway in this. But that is it for me, Sapphire FM, for the Football Manager blog channel, saying thank you as always for watching. Take care and enjoy.